Thorgrim Grudgebearer, the High King of the Dowee, seeks to unite all the Dwarven holds and strike out every wrong written in the Book of Grudges. Commanding a throng of sturdy Dwarven warriors into battle atop the throne of power, he brings pride and hope back to his people and ushers in a new age of greatness for the Karazhan. If you're looking to unite the forces of order and form an immovable wall against the horrors of the old world, then look no further than Thorgrim Grudgebearer. In the lore, Thorgrim was born a nephew to the High King, not necessarily destined for the throne, but groomed to be considered for it. When the old High King began to pass, a council of Dowee nobles was called upon to elect a new ruler. Many candidates were considered, including both Ungrim and Belegar, two of the other playable Dwarven lords. But it was Thorgrim's deeds and vow that won him the crown. During his campaign, Thorgrim ventured into the icy cold reaches of Norska, returning with long-lost Dowee artifacts and reuniting distant clans. If elected, he vowed to reclaim every last Dwarven hold from their ancient enemies and avenge every single wrong written in the Damask Kron, or the Great Book of Grudges. In-game, it's up to you to fulfill that oath. In Total War Warhammer, his faction ability is the Age of Retribution. This gives additional bonuses for clearing grudges as per your vow. A bonus to Diplo with all other Dowee, since you're meant to be uniting holds. Bonuses to Longbeards and Hammerers, your most loyal warriors, and a buff to all region commandments. Thorgrim himself also gets bonuses to his leadership aura in order to inspire all who serve him, and then extra resistance in the Guardian trait for Hammerers to ensure that they protect their High King at all costs. Thorgrim is a leader, not a warrior, and his bonuses are all about ensuring that the Dowee who serve under him are an unbreakable force to be reckoned with. When building his skill tree, I recommend primarily focusing on the red line to buff Longbeards and Hammerers, and then the blue line for lightning strike and casualty replenishment. The Dowee are slow to heal, but extremely sturdy in battle. If you can ensure that your troops are always fighting at full strength, then you'll always have an edge over the enemy. Lightning strike is a must given your foes. Chaos, Greenskin, and Skaven practically require this skill in order to conquer, and they're the three main factions that you're going to be fighting all campaign long. For research, the Dowee have a lot of options, and you might only get through about half of them. I recommend working towards interlocking shields early on to ensure your survivability, and then later keeping an eye on the mastercrafted tech that affects multiple units. The diplomat tech in the Way of the Guilds is crucial for forming alliances, and will greatly help the forces of order stick together during the late game invasion. After that, the choices should vary depending on the campaign, but make special note of the rat poison tech if you start noticing that the Skaven are getting out of control. The Dowee have two special features, the Great Book of Grudges and Oath Gold Forging. Make sure to strike out grudges whenever you can. Letting them stack up will not only cause rebellions to form across your land, but can turn the other Dowee against you. Striking out grudges will also help you stack Oath Gold and give you access to special runes and equipment. Banner runes are very strong early on, especially with your artillery units. And the character runes are an easy recommendation to help buff up your heroes. When it comes to equipment, you'll mostly want to save up for the purple items, but don't hesitate to craft something if you think it will help in the moment. Oath Gold will constantly trickle in, and it's better to spend it than hoard it like some kind of Wazakumgi. My recommended army compositions often look like this. What the Dowee lack in mobility, they make up for in firepower. So a strong artillery line supported by ranged units is a must in order to whittle down the enemy before they reach your troops. Slayers, Mournfangs, and Gyrocopters can be used as flankers if you need them, but your tactics should mostly be to outlast the enemy instead of pressing the attack. A checkerboard pattern can be helpful at maintaining line of sight for your gunpowder units, but really making sure that you hold the high ground is key. Early game is all about anti-infantry and maintaining high leadership, while the Vermintide and the Greentide crash against your wall of shields. Then late game, you want to stack armor-piercing troops to punch through the thick steel of Chaos Warriors and Black Orcs. Runesmiths are worth a special note, as the Dowee don't have access to the Winds of Magic. Instead, harnessing the power of runes can ensure that your units stay buffed up in battle, and with no cost, only cooldown, it also ensures that the longer the fight goes on, the larger advantage you have against enemy mages. The armor buff from Rune of Oath and Steel is exceptionally useful early game when AP is limited, but frankly all of them have a right time and place to be used, so make sure you use them as often as you can. On the campaign layer, your opening moves should be all about the Black Crag rush. In my experience, rushing Black Crag in the first 10 turns gives you an incredible advantage over any other tactic, as it effectively wipes out Grimgore, provides an army's worth of gold income, and gives you a strong central location to operate as a military training ground. In your first turns, you want to secure the Silver Road step by step, and then jump over the walls towards Carrick-Drawn in order to bait out the army. Orcs love a good crumpin', so they'll bring the fight to you, promptly lose it, and then you can take the city with ease. March south, hop the wall near Black Crag, but outside reinforcement range. Sometimes there's an army here that will come out and fight you, and sometimes they've run off elsewhere. Deal with the army, and then the city should be yours for the taking. Once Grimgore's lost his capital and access to military buildings, the rest should be easy cleanup. Thorgrim is all about making alliances, and there's no reason you shouldn't be able to get every dwarf hold on your side. Confederating gives a huge public order and diplomacy penalty, and on higher difficulties, the AI can field a lot more armies than you can afford if you confederate them. Don't hesitate to create a web of allies instead of blobbing all the territory yourself. Dwarves excel in the late game, so the more of you there are, the better. My one exception to this is if they have a legendary lord, they can be worth grabbing just so you have the best immortal heroes. That said, it's not just the dwarves who are your friends, but humans and elves as well. If you can pick up Gotrek and Felix early, send Felix out to make friends and new trade partners, while Gotrek can take to the high seas and collect sunken treasure. They're rarely worth using in battle, but they're extremely useful on the campaign layer. Plus, they won't cost you a single oath gold in upkeep. If you'd like to learn more about Total War Warhammer and how to play other factions, then hit that like and subscribe. Otherwise, you can come check me out live during the week at twitch.tv/AgentNumberOne. In the meantime, get the book. There's grudges to be settled.